Welcome to 602 Roast Show, covering Bachelor from a fantasy point of view. This is going to be week 5 review, week 6 picks. Not a whole lot of information out about week 6, so we'll kind of have to take that as it comes. I'll tell you, I did sneak in a surprise pick for myself. I kind of surprised myself a little bit.
Perfect.
Go ahead and we'll roll through our week 5 picks here. Megan, did you keep your picks the same from the preview show?
I did not, because I decided that, if I'm going to talk a big game about predicting what the producers are going to do and show us on the episode, that I better set my lineup to match that. So I ended up taking out Genevieve because I was convinced that there wasn't going to be the 2-on-1 in this episode. And I put in Sarah because I was led to believe that she might get the group roast.
Well, it worked out to a certain extent.
No, it didn't.
I rolled Serene, Gabi, Genevieve, Shanae, and my wild card was Eliza because, again, we didn't know a whole lot about that group date rose. And mine didn't work either. So,
yeah, Marlena was the one that we wanted in the lineup.
Yeah, and boy, she had an episode. We'll certainly get to that. Yeah. I scored 180. You scored 201. And some of these girls just did numbers. I got lucky the way this one broke out, where we ended up with 2 one-on-one dates earlier than we normally would. I actually hit my thorny proposition for kisses in this episode. Serene scored 53 and Gabi scored 54 on their one-on-ones. Those are big efforts. You did have Mara in there, who we saw in the previews a little bit, getting a little feisty.
And you know what? I believe in the last episode you gave me some shit for picking Mara. But I'm sorry, how many points did she get me?
She put up 41. I believe that was good for third highest this week.
Yeah, so I guess it wasn't such a bad pick, huh?
No, it certainly seems not to be. Our wild cards, Sarah and Eliza, scored out exactly the same. Really, it came down to Mara for you, as I played Genevieve, and she was significantly outscored. You'll see up on your screen here the Rose Show. On Cloud Wine still out in front, but her lead has been cut into.
Yes.
Maggie, you jumped to second. I'm in third. Myra in fourth, and Kristen sitting in fifth. But I think most importantly, you see the global rankings at the bottom there, where I have dropped all the way to 24th, and Megan up to 6th.
Yeah.
So definitely where we need to be. I think as a group now, there's 7 of us in the top 60. So everyone picking really, really well. Megan obviously way out in front. We discussed how Cloud Wine isn't in the global rankings. So Megan, you're leading the way there for weekly.
There you go.
That's pretty much everything I had for weekly. You have anything else?
Nope.
All right, jumping over to season long. I have finally broken our tie with different people. I'm up to 1975. You're at 1895. We both lose Sierra. So down to 5 contestants the rest of the way here. We are chasing, and I think we might be done. I think we might be cooked here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we're done. We have been for weeks.
Ashley's sitting at 2260. We've talked about some of that scoring. I think she's got it pretty much locked at this point. We'll do a deeper dive on season long in an episode coming up here. Big 3 things.
Well, so I actually kind of like last week, because the episodes are so screwed up at this point, wanted just a quick recap on what we actually saw this week.
That's more than fair.
Because we started off with a one-on-one, we just went right into it. one-on-one with Serene, and then we had the fourth rose ceremony. We went to Canada, Toronto, to be specific. And then we had a one-on-one with Gabi, and then the group date, which was a comedy roast, although maybe less comedy, more roasting. And then we ended with then Genevieve and Shanae getting to the 2-on-1. And so that was kind of where they left us, was all three of them looking at the Niagara Falls majestically.
So wrapped up in what is probably the weirdest formatted episode I've ever seen. What was your favorite part of that mess?
Well, this is gonna be fun for me because I actually didn't label any of my big threes yet. So this is how well my notes are going so far. So let's say I still really love Gabi. I really loved Gabi and Clayton's date. I felt like it was the first time that we actually saw him relax and just be like goofy and like, I don't know, he just felt loose on that date. And I feel like that might be just like more of how he is maybe in real life. But he just felt more, he felt less cardboard. And I liked that. I liked seeing that. So what about you? What was your favorite thing about this week?
My favorite was Shanae's segment surrounding the rose ceremony. Talking to Clayton, kind of feeling out what he expected from her, the tearful apology, going back and kind of gloating to Clayton about the apology and making out with him, and then having her behind the scenes interview where she's like, "Not sorry, hoes." Like that entire storyline within the rose ceremony was my favorite part of the episode. It was a disaster.
I mean, yeah, it was. And actually, probably one of my least favorite parts of the episode was actually Clayton feeding her the lines that he wanted her to say to him. Right? Like, you do want to apologize, right, for throwing that trophy? Like, you know that was a bad thing, right? Like very like so clearly feeding her lines of the way that she needs to apologize so that he can get to the point of which he wants to get to, which is just to kiss her again. So yeah.
My least favorite continues to be the timing. I have not leaned into your recommendations the last couple of weeks, and I've paid for it. So I'm changing my strategy a little bit. But the reason this hits my least favorite list is because I'm worried about what happens in Rose League specifically when we hit a women tell all. Because the way they're going, they might need the first 20 minutes of a women tell all to resolve an episode or resolve a conflict. And I'm concerned from a scoring standpoint if we're going to see any of that. Because if you miss it, if we anticipate the timing being off and we make a pick based on that, you never get those points because we're not scoring a women tell all potentially. That is concerning to me from a fantasy standpoint because part of the edge, right, is knowing and or predicting outcomes. And when that edge is eliminated, it's a crapshoot. These girls are a disaster.
I mean, or you just get really good at predicting what the producers are going to do, which is what I've been doing.
And you've been hitting, so hard to argue with.
Yeah.
What was your surprise in this episode?
I'm going to go with the surprise being, actually, you know what the surprise is the drama that erupted between Sarah and Mara. Did not see that coming in the roast. So that's my surprise.
Yeah, it felt like there had to have been something more to that.
Yeah, well, and then like Sarah came out on social media and was like, "Oh, like editing. Like she went first, and then it was me." And I was like, "Okay, well, whoever went first doesn't matter. Y'all both got into it." So, but I did like it from a my points perspective. If I had both of them,
it certainly helped. She went after her a few times.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little meta with my surprise.
Okay.
Ashley sent me a post. It's like a 90-minute drive from where they were staying to Niagara Falls. they put those girls in the back of a car together for 90 minutes in traffic. I'm a little surprised by that because we didn't see any of it. So that's my surprise.
Yeah.
Is that there is 90 minutes where, in theory, they could have just sat quietly. But those girls talk so much that I can't imagine 90 minutes went by without something happening in that car.
Are we sure they drove the whole way?
I don't know how else you get there.
Helicopter?
Potentially. I don't know why they'd make the big production of putting them in a car. But that was my surprise, is from a meta standpoint that we didn't get more out of that transit time.
Well, you know they're gonna recap it at the beginning of this next episode. So
I was hoping maybe for like some credits, beef or something in the back of the limousine.
not yet. No. Don't worry, you'll get all your Genevieve points this week.
Yeah, well, we'll get to picks here in a little bit. I'm hoping she does something. What do you have? What do you have on Clayton?
Well, so first off, I have the ABC, like meta-wise, right? ABC's doing a really, really good job this season with their previews and keeping people on their toes for what's going to happen in the episode. So I was texting you the day on Monday, right, about my picks. I was going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to take Genevieve out because there had been so much more publicity about the 2-on-1 than there had been about Gabi's 1-to-1. And really questioning myself of like whether or not they were going to put the 2-on-1 first or if they were going to put Gabi first in that timeline. And so ABC is just doing a really good job this season in terms of trying to fool people and trying to keep up with social media and the spoilers that are out there, which I mean, kudos to them for keeping it interesting. Although I know that you don't love that.
It's definitely changed the game a little bit. This season's the first season we've had where we've seen the trailer editing and manipulation come to fruition. You know, they started doing it with Michelle's season, and now it's just kind of rampant.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's interesting.
I also learned more about Clayton this week. Did you know that he once worked at the Fudge Factory?
I do now.
Look at all the stuff I'm learning about him. He's such a three-dimensional character.
I've got a white wine after dark on him that I think I've had a few times, but I'm keeping my list now. So
yeah,
that's about the extent of my Clayton notes.
Yeah, I mean, I just obviously like there've been a lot of just really wonderful memes out on the internet this season, and I really did appreciate the one of just like, Clayton talking about all the shit that Shanae's done, and then saying, "But throwing that trophy, it's the last straw. That's what I can't forget." Which he did. I mean, he made a really big deal about throwing the trophy over anything else.
Well, it's one thing to be disrespectful to the girls. It's another thing to be disrespectful to the process.
The process or the sport?
I consider it in that way. Mm-hmm. Well, he's also playing some games on social media, posting certain things, perhaps confirming that the producers made him keep Shanae.
There's no way. That boy got to make out with her so many fucking times and is eager about it. There's no fucking way they forced him to keep her around. If we're going just by like arousal and like dick hardness, I think she definitely was staying there for other reasons other than the producer making him.
I mean, they seem really into each other.
Yeah. Like I am totally for that argument of the producers made me keep them for other seasons, but not this one. Like he seems genuinely into this girl.
Do you think there's a chance she survives the 2-on-1?
That's a great question that we can talk about when we get to picks.
All right. Then we'll move into elims.
Yeah.
Jill, Lindsay, and Sierra eliminated this week. The only note I have on any of them was Sierra just really came across as done with the bullshit.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if what she said to Clayton as she left was only what we saw. I think that probably went a little further. Yeah, she's just kind of over it.
Yeah. But I honestly loved that line that we saw from her as she was leaving. I hope you choose for the man that you will become, not the man that you are today. Incredible. Loved it.
Somebody gift "Don't Be Stupid" in neon letters on that shot. That was it's one I have saved on my phone.
I mean, it's great. That's a good one. I like her. I like Sierra.
You want to be on Roast Show? Yeah, we're recording right now. She got to put her face on. All right. We're recording on scene in scenic Scottsdale, and some of our Roast Show people are wandering the crowd. Yeah, did you have anything else on Jill, Lindsay, or Sierra?
No, I mean, no.
Pretty one-dimensional at their
So I
best.
will say that this is now the second time that a girl has worn the Cinderella cut princess gown and has been eliminated the night that she wears it.
The color looked great on her. The dress was preposterous.
But again, Kate wore a red version of that the night that she got eliminated too.
All right, so maybe that's the trend. Don't wear Cinderella dresses ever, really.
Yeah.
Eliza, who I had slipped in as a sneaky pick for me, I have no notes on because she did absolutely nothing.
Yep, I got 0.
Gabi, it was nice to see her open up a bit. She's come across kind of flat, at least to me. Her backstory wasn't incredibly intriguing, but just having something new to grab onto for her, because they do seem to have a pretty good connection, and I hadn't seen anything as to why. So seeing her kind of open up like that, I enjoyed. Laying on the ground with somebody else's dog in the park is kind of weird.
No, that was my favorite. I actually wrote down. I was like, I love that. I would do it.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I guess her damage is kind of a rude way to put it, but she's the way she is because of X, and we were missing X. So the manipulative, non-loving mother piece, it was at least nice to have to factor into the character.
It was. I was actually really caught by or struck by the question that Clayton asked after she told that story, which was, do you want a relationship with your mom still, basically, right? And it looked like it even caught Gabi off guard. Like, she got really emotional about it, because when you just heard about someone's whoever being really shitty to them, that's not normally a question that I think pops into your head, right? Is like, yeah, good for you, get them out of your life, right? Like, they were shit to you. But I do wonder how that plays with this narrative that we've gotten about Clayton being a family guy, right? And that family is really, really important to him. And so will it come back to bite Gabi that she doesn't have this close relationship with family, right? That family is something that she's actually pushed away for her own health and well-being, and definitely it sounds like needed to do. And I fully support that. But in Clayton's mind, is that a negative thing?
Yeah, I don't think we'll know until hometowns.
Yeah.
And those kind of discussions will come out. I don't think I've seen hometown preview footage from anybody yet.
So there's a lot of clips of Gabi crying, obviously. I'm now wondering if the producers are really shitty and end up bringing Gabi's mom onto her hometown. I'm really worried about that. I just that thought just came into me, and I'm really worried about that. I don't like that. Okay, Genevieve. Yeah.
All right, Genevieve. So I'm going to confirm Genevieve as someone who watches The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. She figured out that 2-on-1 real quick. And just seeing the emotion in her face, it was just anger and disgust mostly. But like, she was barely done reading that card, and Genevieve's like, "Oh, it's a 2-on-1," and I can appreciate that she watches the show enough to immediately understand what is going on and to be so pissed that it's her.
Yeah.
I really like that potential from a point standpoint, because she was ready to fight
Yeah.
before the date card for the group date was even done being read.
Yeah. I was pissed for her. Like, and we were actually having this conversation with the girls I was watching with, is like, really, outside of Elizabeth and Sierra, there haven't been some really like, big names in that Shanae drama yet. And so the fact that Genevieve's name did get put on that date card is kind of shocking. And like, I felt angry for her because she really hasn't been part of the drama. So.
Well, and I guess to take it a little more meta, it's a meta episode today. If the producers were making him keep Shanae, or even if they weren't, we know about how much further Genevieve goes. If you know you want to pick Genevieve, and the producers are making you do all this drama, or you're to the point where you got to just kind of eliminate the drama in the house, right? Either way, that's the last time I'll qualify which direction it comes from. But you end up with this 2-on-1. If you pick somebody you know you want to keep, and somebody you know you don't want to keep, you can manufacture all that fake drama bullshit.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it. Maybe Clayton already knows Genevieve's his pick. And so you pair someone you know you don't need to see on the group date because X, Y, Z, right? We haven't seen them have a whole lot of time together, but maybe he knows that he wants her to move on, and so it's an easy placement for him. It might drive her crazy.
I think you're giving him a lot of credit. Have you been hanging out with him? Did he buy you some bourbon?
But just like check my producer out.
Got that like knife to your back poking you.
You wouldn't need a knife. You can think the guns on that dude. That's all I have on Genevieve. She had a really slow episode, really burned me again with this timing and me not listening to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But Hunter
continues to stay and continues to not do a lot.
So we noticed watching something finally that jumped out about Hunter. Her boot game is on point. That girl has the best cowboy boots. In this episode, she had like a great pair of white leather ones, and then like silver sequined ones. I got to go back and look and see if she's been rocking boots the whole time, but they look good. She pulls it off. She's a Houston girl, and it works.
Yeah, there you go.
Mara, who I have no notes for because I figured I'd let you talk about her.
I mean, I don't even have that many notes about her other than, yeah, I mean, like she has kind of in the last couple episodes become like the Casey of the season, where she's just like recapping, like she had a lot of commentary, and that's where a lot of her points came from. Actually, was not being in the drama, but doing the like far away commentary with the producers about it, and shit talking behind the scenes, basically, which I appreciate 100%. Yeah, and then like I said, the weird her and Sarah drama that came out. I was really hoping that we would see her kiss Clayton on the like in the aftermath of the roast, and we did not. I'm still, for my thorny propositions, waiting. I think I have until the end of this next episode for everyone who's still left to kiss him. So I was really hoping that she would make it this last episode, but did not. So
yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out. What with all these weird timing rose ceremonies and stuff.
Yep.
Marlena, who who went scorched earth. I don't know if you caught it before it was deleted, but she posted her whole skit.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure it's floating around out there somewhere, but I mean, she went in on everybody. I really appreciated the inbred Missouri jokes. I thought that was like for people that aren't like the people I spend time with, that is so inappropriate. Like even in a roast setting. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It looked like Clayton did too. He definitely took the time to respond, which I thought was kind of weird. And hearing him do that was kind of weird. But yeah, she hit. It looked like she was getting laughs from everybody. So
yeah. Well, and then she was really classy in addressing the Shanae drama. She got a kiss.
She's classy in addressing the Shanae drama. She called herpes.
Previously, like before the roast.
Okay.
At the rose ceremony contact, she was really good about it. And then she finally got a kiss on screen that we saw. So, yeah, I mean, like she did really well this episode. I was, like I said, I was really rooting for other people to get that group rose. But I mean, I'm happy for her that she got it. So.
Marlena did not get the group rose.
No, who got it? Oh, fucking Rachel did. That's right.
Yeah,
Marlena should have gotten it. That's where I was going. Marlena should have gotten it.
She was whining about the last two group days, the football and the comedy, in which she nominated both and didn't get either rose.
Yep, Marlena should have gotten it, or Sarah should have gotten it. But no, fucking Rachel got it.
Well, let's segue straight to Rachel, who I have no notes for because she is horribly boring.
Yeah. And again, should not have gotten the group rose. And this is yet another week where Megan sits there dumbfounded and confused about why someone got the group rose, considering that we saw no screen time of them doing anything.
He seems to be placing way more value on the interactions after the fact and very little on the competition we're seeing actually out on the date.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. But we also, I mean, even with his interactions that we saw, right? From what we saw, Rachel's interaction was nothing compared to the other ones. Again,
he likes her enough to get her in the final three, so
yeah, I'm sure he does. I
don't. Sarah, who I have nothing for other than she got the first rose, kind of in the same boat as Eliza, just didn't do a whole lot on the episode, coming off a busier episode for her. So
yeah, like I said, I was hopeful. I mean, she did some stuff on the roast. She did more than Eliza did on the roast, at least. But yeah, on its own.
Serene, ignoring her preposterous high-waisted shorts, looked amazing in the faux lingerie top and then in that dinner dress.
Okay, but did you see her I mean, you did, but did you notice her in the rose ceremony dress that she was wearing?
I don't have notes on it, so it might have been too much wine by that point.
It was this incredible yellow dress. It was so good.
Her collarbones and shoulders and stuff rock those dresses.
Yeah, I mean, she always looks gorgeous, but I thought.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought it was a cute date. It struck me that Clayton seemed far more receptive and like emotionally present with Gabi when she was explaining like her trauma compared to when Serene was talking about her trauma. And that felt really awkward. And I don't know if that's just because he like talking about loss is different than talking about like family dynamics. And if maybe he just felt awkward talking about the topic, but it was definitely a difference.
Yeah, it was nice to see some vulnerability out of her. She carries herself really well. She's been really poised for most of the season here. So it was nice to see some humanity in there.
Yeah. Well, and I have to say too, because I noticed it, I ended up rewatching Her Date. And so again, going back to our thorny propositions, Serene did say on the show, I feel like I'm falling in love with Clayton. Did not get points for it though.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
was that with
Gabi also said, I'm on my way to falling for him. So we're getting close. We're getting close to that one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be Teddy.
I said Gabi for that one.
Oh, you did. Teddy was the virgin stuff.
Virgin stuff, which is still coming.
Yeah, she'll hit her one-on-one and it'll be a disaster.
Yep. That's what I'm hoping.
Shanae, who had a quiet episode, we'll call it, like 30 points.
Yeah. Yeah, that apology was just utterly ridiculous. Yeah, I don't have a ton to say on her this week.
So the character is one that I'm enthralled with. She's something else. I'd love to meet her, but everything I'm reading online is that like that's her. She's pretty much not playing a character. Yeah. That's kind of frightening, but I'd still like to meet her.
Yeah, we'll just go to Ohio.
Yeah, no, actually, never mind. I'm good. Susie.
Yeah.
Who I have nothing on. She didn't do a whole lot this episode.
But she did more behind the scenes stuff, or they showed more behind the scenes clips of her this time. So she was very sweet to Shanae after Shanae's apology. And then she did get in on like the behind the scenes drama, talking with Jill and Rachel. And then I think she was talking with, it was her. It was either her or Rachel who was talking with Genevieve and Gabi too. But like she got in on some like behind the scenes stuff to talk about like the process and everything.
Yeah, we need more from her. Obviously, she's kind of locked in for us season long. We have a pretty good idea what happens, but she's been kind of disappointing week to week.
Mm-hmm. I mean, kind of like Clayton was for Michelle's season.
True. I'm not going to go as deep in theory, but I'm concerned as we've gone from 6 to 5 already for picks. Eating chalk on Susie if she's not going to be interesting, and then might throw a wrench in things late here. So we'll have to keep an eye on her.
But you don't love doing those gambles.
I'm usually so far in first place that I don't have to. I find myself in a very different position this season. So I think the more we chitter chatter on here, the more exposed I am to the group at large. Pretty much everybody is making independent picks. I know Riley. I think Riley caught my picks one week, but but it's getting more competitive. So everyone's putting in their own research and their own time, and I can't just ride first place wire to wire. So
it's more fun that way. It's more fun.
Absolutely. So we might have to dump some cash into this next year. Up the stakes a little bit. Teddy.
I
have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I just have her comment about it being absurd that Shanae threw the trophy, and how can you come back from that?
Is she the one that started the pond thing? Because I don't think it was a pond.
I think
looked like bush.
I think Sierra did that in like her recap of what had happened.
That's been driving me crazy.
Well, we don't know if there was a pond.
It didn't look.
We saw it fly through bushes, but we don't know where it landed.
That's fair. Okay. Into the point categories here. What do you have for us on our Makeout Queens?
Okay, so this week I did all of our categories a little bit differently because obviously we're having more and more girls be eliminated. And some of those girls who are eliminated were some of the top 3 in these categories. So what I did this week is I took out anyone who's been eliminated. So these are only girls who are still in the competition. So you can better align your picks with that. And then I also have written down here in my cheat sheet about the girls who were eliminated and kind of where they fall. So for kissing, we have a lot of kissers. So Rachel maintained her top spot at 15. Serene came in at 11 and Gabi came in at 10. So both of them benefited for those one-on-one dates. And then Sarah got a decent amount this week and popped up to 9. So keeping up the rear there. As far as negative emotions, we have Shanae ended up popping up in the first place there. So she ended up having a lot more anxiety and worry and nervousness and jealousy in this episode than she had in previous ones. I think she got 3 more of them this episode. I want to say she was at 6 last time. Genevieve is up at 6, and then Susie at 5. From people who had been eliminated, so Lindsay was at 8 and Jill was at 7. So those two would have rounded out the top 3, but they have obviously since gone home. As far as drama, so for smack talking, Shanae actually only added 2 incidents of smack talking in this episode. So she went from 27 to 29. So again, as we said, not like a huge episode for Shanae. Mara's coming in with 12, and then Genevieve with 9. For people who were eliminated, so Sierra would have gotten 2nd. She had 17 before she got eliminated and went home. And then Elizabeth would have gotten 4th. So she had 10 before she got eliminated. And then for fighting and confrontation, this remains a pretty low scoring category. So Shanae's at 8 still, and she's still in the lead there. And then we have Genevieve with 2, and then the rest of the girls are at like either 1 or 0 who are still left. For people who were eliminated, we have Elizabeth with 6, so she would have fallen in 2nd place. And then we have a bunch of people who would have joined Genevieve with 2. So we had Cassidy, Kira, and Sierra who all had 2 incidents of it before they left. So that's what we have as far as a recapping of categories.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job backstabbing each other instead of actually having confrontations.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see. We have to compare it to some other seasons, but it feels slimier this season.
Yeah.
Week 6 pricing is a little all over the place just because the scoring in the episode was kind of weird. Shanae and Gabi up at the top there. Rachel, Susie, Sarah, Serene. Got Genevieve, Mara, and Teddy all at 17. Marlena, Eliza, and Hunter rounding out the top there. The one that really jumped out to me as a value pick is Sarah at 19. We know she's got, well, in theory, she's got some stuff coming up. So at 19, it's kind of that sweet spot. I believe if you don't take Shanae and Gabi, you could fit in any 5 you want.
That maybe.
So, and we talked about it in the last season. It really starts just being about where the points are. You should be able to pick essentially whoever you want. Again, you want to make sure you have dates in the right weeks.
Yeah, you do.
So we know this upcoming episode will start with this 2-on-1.
Yep. And then we know that we go to Croatia, and then we have Rose Ceremony 5. And then we know that we go to Croatia, which is more extravagant international travel than Toronto, Canada. And then we know that we have a group date, which I've heard is about being Vikings. And then we have 2 one-on-ones, but we don't know the order of those one-on-ones yet. So one of them goes to Teddy and one of them goes to Sarah. And
you're just going to get left out of this damn episode.
Yeah, and so whichever one is last is not going to make the episode, as we found out last week. And so you have to be able to watch previews and figure out who's going first and who's going second. Because one of those girls is going to get you points, and one of those girls is not going to be getting you points.
So I might do something I haven't done in 4 seasons of Rose League. Change my picks from what is up on your screen right now. I have Sarah and Teddy on the 1-on-1s. I have Genevieve winning the 2-on-1. I have Serene because this list is getting real thin, and we're not sure how these ceremonies are going to fall out.
Yeah.
And I have Shanae. Because not only am I not convinced that she actually will go home, but I think if there's a 25-minute 2-on-1 date, she will outscore all but whoever wins the group date and the 1-on-1 girls, which has her in my top 5. So Sarah, Teddy, Genevieve, Serene, Shanae, and like I said, I might, for the first time ever, change the picks I've submitted to the show if it looks like one of these 1-on-1s isn't going to happen, because I cannot absorb another bad week with a person that's not even on a date.
Yeah, that's fair. I am going to, go on for my, my 4th prediction of the season and say one of the 1-on-1s is not happening this episode. I am not at liberty yet to say which one it is. So similar to you right now in my lineup, I have both girls in, and will be dropping one of them before Monday at 7 p.m. To make sure that I'm hopefully getting the right girl in, and getting some extra points from whoever's not on there. I forget, who is my 5th pick? Who did I throw in there?
It's up on the screen, but it's not up on my screen.
Perfect. So. Viewers at home, you guys know and we don't. Whoever my 5th pick is, it's because I think it might be Susie. It's one of my chalk girls who I know is going to be sticking around, who might end up winning the group date. Who knows? But I'm hoping to get a little more screen time from. So.
There is Wi-Fi out here. I didn't connect to it.
Fair. Well, I use my phone to do these recordings, and that's where the Rose League is, so I can't look it up.
I will say, from a potential point standpoint, Genevieve, at least in theory, gets a 2-on-1 and a group date.
Yeah.
So from a strictly point standpoint, as long as she doesn't torpedo herself at Niagara Falls, she should be good for 2 days. Now, she has already gotten the points for being selected for the 2-on-1. She'll get points for going on the group date.
Have you ever seen it where has someone ever had negative points in the Rose League? Can you go under 0?
You can. We saw it a few times early this season.
Okay.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
I think Jill went negative the first 2 weeks.
Okay.
So yes, but it's not the case.
Your girl Genevieve.
Top 10 scorer Genevieve.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair.
Did you have anything else for week 6 picks?
No.
All right. Well, that's all we have for this week then. As always, you can join us on the Rose League app, hashtag 602 Rose Show. Put your money where your mouth is and see if you stand up to probably the best league in Rose League. We have to do some stats on that, but yeah, I think all of our active players are in the top 100. So definitely doing great. As we talked about in this episode, we will talk about Fantasizer season long, maybe in a special episode coming up here, and some late season general strategy for weekly. Definitely like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram And hey, we really appreciate you sitting and talking Bachelor with us.
Yeah, totally.
So, for Megan, I am Rick, and we'll see you guys next time.